What's good, Black Star Podcast? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Jared. Y'all, brothers, apparently we're to blame again for some bullshit that happened to another black woman. Y'all won't believe what this is now. We to blame for everything. Let's get that through our fucking heads. We're gonna be blamed for every fucking thing that goes on with these women, even if it's not even not even really our fault. But today on the docket, we have a video from Anton Daniels, and this is of a black woman saying that it's black men's fault because she got kicked out of a club in Miami for white women. Yeah, somehow it's our fucking fault. Let's go ahead and get started.
So I just came here to say Miami is colorless as it's nowhere in the world that me and three of my beautifully melanated friends literally got kicked out of a section to make room for some white. I'm just not understanding. Like, can y'all help me calculate this? And no, I'm not bitter. I'm not a hater. See it bad, do it bad. I don't give a what ethnicity you is. I don't care what race, none of that. But the fact that I go into a club and I'm getting told I need to move just because a group of white walk in. And the thing about it is the person telling me to move is a big burly black man. Black is nice. That's what be so crazy to me about these Miami. Like, are y'all still hating? Like, what's going on? Like, and this is my second time being at Playa, and I never experienced what I experienced this night, but it was utterly disgusting. Like,
all right, so let's pause for a second. And number one, I always like to give credit to the creator, so you'll see a link back down in the description. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's deep dive into this for a second. So first of all, what difference do it make what color the person, the security, the bouncer, the person that's taking you to the booths or whatever it is, a section, what difference do it make what color they are? You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, these establishments are about money. It's about profit. You can't first say that you're not colorist. If you a bad chick, you a bad chick. And then get mad and say, well, they kicked you out because it's some white chicks that came and replaced you. Because you don't know. I mean, unless they gave you an explanation and said, well, it's just because they white. Because it's not like the chick is bad looking. Like, I'm going to be objective. Like, she looks straight or whatever. But it's 1,000 tens in Miami, number one. And you got to tell the full story. Is you moving around? Is you continuing to buy bottles? Is it starting to get crowded? Is it people that may be a little bit more significant or they got a lot more visibility? Because it's always somebody with more visibility and a bigger bag. Down in Miami, as a person that has lived there for multiple different months, let me tell you, there is always a bigger bag. When you are driving from Miami to Miami Beach from Biscayne over in the South Beach and you see that big ass black boat that's sitting there on the water, listen, man, I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what you riding on. It's different. It's a
You know, the crazy part about this is this. And I'm gonna let Anton finish. What's crazy about this is this. These women will literally get mad because the establishment that they go into that they do not own just made them get up and leave. Now, I'm gonna go more in detail with this in a little while after I let Anton get off what he's saying. But this lady, obviously you're in the city, and if you got in, I've never been to a nightclub, so I can't really speak on a nightclub culture. I've never been to one. But how do you feel entitled to a table and you possibly may have not paid for that table? And then you get mad because it's a black man. You know what? I'm gonna let it go before I get started.
different level over there, and it's always somebody with a bigger bag. You pulling up in your STO and then they pulling up in a Chiron. You know what I'm saying? It's different. But the point is that it's always another part to the story. You know what I'm saying? You might have got there a little bit earlier and it wasn't as crowded, but as the night started to go on, it started to get a little bit more popping and more money started flowing. And then somebody came in and they was moving around a little bit different than you. That caused the nightclub owner to make an executive decision. You just don't know. The price of the brick went up. You know what I'm saying? But to say that they colorists because you got moved around or they say, hey, you got to get out of here or whatever, you got to go or you got to move and shake or we got to get this section over to somebody else or maybe you got it for free and somebody willing to pay for it. Money talks. Real talk. In Miami, listen, bro, everybody pretty in Miami. Everybody got money, everybody beautiful, but money talks. And so I want to hear the rest of the story before I make the rest of my assessment.
Literally, I'm enjoying my night with my friends. We got invited to Playa. It's a lot of celebs in the building, like just a good vibe. And in the midst of all of this, I'm being told, "Oh, you gotta move around." And then I'm like, "Okay, I understand." That I'm looking, and I'm like, "Oh." And the thing about it is, these bitches ain't our allies. They not rooting for us. They're not like, "Oh, this is wrong," or "Oh, they can stay." None of that. Like they're literally benefiting from this shit, and they feed off this shit. And I blame you, black men. Y'all got other ethnicities feeling like they're above your own women. And
I should have seen this was coming. Yeah, when y'all sent me this, I thought we was just gonna be talking about the money aspect of it or that part of the culture or what's happening down in Miami and all of that stuff. Y'all didn't warn me. Y'all gotta start warning me. I didn't know that this was gonna automatically start to become black man fault. I did not know that this was gonna become black. Okay, so wait a minute. So now it's black men fault because they telling you to move around in the club a little bit more because it's somebody with a bigger bag or more clout or whatever like that, right? So because they telling you to move around a little bit more, it's now black men fault because other ethnicities feeling as though they been man, listen, bro. It don't matter if it's for the election, for political season, of whether or not you voted for Kamala Harris for identity politics, or if you in down in Miami, bro. It's always going to be black men's fault. I don't see nobody saying it's white men's fault, Asian men's fault. I mean, I see these spaces and I know that everybody is having problems with their women, especially in Western culture. It's just bad out here as far as these people feeling entitled. But good God, how did that become black men's fault? Because they told you to move around in the club and you're not as clouded as everybody else. You're not as goated as everybody else. Hold on, maybe I missed something. Let me see something.
I understand that I'm looking, and I'm like, "Oh." And the thing about it is, these bitches ain't our allies. They not rooting for us. They're not like, "Oh, this is wrong," or "Oh, they can stay." None of that. Like they're literally benefiting from this shit, and they feed off this shit.
Okay.
And I blame you, black men. Y'all got other ethnicities feeling like they're above your own women, and that's very fucking sad. But anyways, I love Miami. Like I will be back. I'm not gonna let that bother me. But just know, ladies, if you've never been to Miami, just know the club scene is colorist as fuck.
So you're a visitor.
You see my skin tone?
You wasn't even living there.
I'm brown skinned, but I still don't meet the quota. Apparently, the aesthetic is still not me. It's white, light bright, or damn near white. So just be prepared. Like, I don't give a fuck how bad you is. Like, I had to literally tell my friend she bad as fuck. And we experienced this not once but twice in Miami, at Playa, and then again at Live. So it just goes to show you. But yeah.
Y'all got to start moving around, man. Listen, it's more to do than just hit the club down in Miami, especially if you're a visitor. If you're a visitor, you just go into all of the hottest spot. I mean, all of the clouded spaces that's there. Y'all got to start talking to the locals. Most of the locals don't do the same stuff as the people that visit Miami or the people that don't inherently live there. Like I could tell that she didn't live there because most of the locals is not at Live. You know what I'm saying? Like they not in the places that most of the locals don't even go to the beach. They don't even go to Miami Beach. And so, I think that this entitlement spirit or this, everybody is against you because you black, that junk is so dead, man. You got to just compete. And if you're not competing or if you don't feel like your dollar is stretching as far as everybody else is in that space, then why do you feel necessary for you to continue to go to these spaces?
Okay. And I agree with Anton because if you don't feel like you're being accepted into these spaces, then why even go? Now, there's also a caveat to this. A lot of times, I see a lot of black women on TikTok arguing back and forth with black women about the whole race issue thing. How black women need allies, or black people need allies and shit. But what a lot of these people don't realize is this, especially when it comes to black women. Y'all argue with these people and expect a lot of these people to understand where we're coming from. They're not going to. Okay? If you are complaining about something, create your own. Now, back to the whole club shit. If you don't own the club, you don't have any rights. You don't have any right to feel offended because they asked you to move, especially if you didn't pay. If a club owner tells you to move or to move around a little bit, that's because they have people coming in that's paying maybe even more than you, and maybe they paying. So you can't complain when you don't own this establishment. See, a lot of these type of people feel entitled to objects in life due to the fact that they're a woman or they're pretty. Now, she's all right. She's not a look. She's not. Oh my gosh, damn. She's all that in the back. She's not. But what I'm saying is, you can't be mad when these people ask you to move or to move around because they have somebody coming in that's playing top dollar for that specific spot. Yes, it's fucked up. Yes, it's all that shit. But what you have to understand is, they're not going to cater to you the way you want to be catered to. Something you have to accept. Yes, it's fucked up and shit, but it's the way that the world is. You can't be mad because they doing what they do. They did what they want to do for their community. Now, I'm not sure if the owner of the club is black or whatever, but you can't get mad and feel entitled to something just because you're black. I'm sorry. It ain't how the world goes. But anyways, guys, like, share, subscribe, channel, support the podcast, and Spotify.com. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Thank you guys for listening. Bye, guys.